specifically how it fits into your launch and how it can build your business. And just to be clear, what I'm about to share comes from experience. This is not theory. Since 2005, my students have done well over $1 billion, that's billion with a B, $1 billion in sales in just about every type of online business you can think of, in hundreds of different markets and niches, in more languages than I can count, and literally all over the world. And in the last year, we've gone deep down the AI rabbit hole to figure out how it can make this launch process easier and faster to implement. Here's what we found. AI is an absolute game changer when it comes to creating or growing an online business. Of course, you probably already knew that, but it's pretty wild. It can help script your pre-launch content. It can shortcut your avatar research, write the first draft of your email copy, and it's great for brainstorming the deliverables of your offer and a whole lot more. But the one thing it won't do for you, or at least it won't do well for you, is the strategy. It's amazing for helping create the pieces, but it's still up to you to put them together. That's where I have good news, because AI fits perfectly with the product launch formula, and it's made the formula so much easier to implement. It's like peanut butter and jelly or coffee and donuts. Bottom line, AI will make your launch easier. It makes using the product launch formula easier. It will get you to success faster. But I've got a couple of warnings and a few things you need to remember as you go through this training. First, AI is an amazing tool, but it's just that. It's a tool. Product launch formula is the strategy that makes it all work. What I mean is that AI is awesome, but just like an axe will not magically build a fire for you, AI will not build a launch or create a business for you. It will help you with much of the work, but you need the right strategy for your launch. So in our limited time together, I'm going to focus on two things in this launch masterclass. First, teaching you the underlying core strategies to get you launched. And second, digging into the nitty-gritty with the AI and some of the exact prompts that I use. And I have one more warning. Now is the time. This AI wave is massive, and you want to get in front of it. You're going to be able to launch more quickly and more effectively, and it's going to give you a huge head start. Make no mistake, there are going to be long-term winners with AI, and this launch masterclass will set you up to win. Okay, I know I've thrown some really big ideas and some big numbers at you, but that's not how I started. In fact, my first launch started with a list of 19 email subscribers, and I started my business out of sheer desperation. I was a stay-at-home dad with a burning need to help support my family. But I stumbled onto a formula that has made all the difference. It changed my life. It changed the lives of tens of thousands of my students. And if you follow this formula, I think it can change your life as well. And it all starts with the Sideways Sales Letter. And that's what I'll show you in the next video. Me many years and thousands of baby steps, but the short answer is I had a strategy, a formula. And that formula has now become my life's work. It's called the Product Launch Formula, or PLF for short. And it's become the gold standard of how stuff is marketed and sold online. I've taught it to thousands in my Product Launch Formula coaching program, and their results have been legendary. It's crazy to say, but if you look at nearly any niche where products or services are sold online, the top players are using this formula. Now, I know a lot of people get a little freaked out about marketing and sales, just like I did when I first started. They might say, I suck at marketing, or I'm the creative one, I'll get someone else to do the marketing. But the reality is this: marketing is nothing more than clearly and effectively communicating the true value of what you have to offer to the world. If you've got a great product or service, then you owe it to yourself, your family, and the entire world to market it effectively. So let's dig into the Product Launch Formula, specifically two core pieces of it, the Sideways Sales Letter and the mental triggers. And I'm going to show you how AI has made this formula so much easier to use. So what's the Sideways Sales Letter? Well, back when I started, everyone was using these old style sales pages. They're mostly a thing of the past now, but you might have seen them. basically it's a really long web page. If you printed it out, it might be 10 pages or even longer. There was a headline at the top, and the standard formula they used was problem, agitate, solve. The idea was that you grabbed your prospect's attention with a headline, then you defined some problem that they had in their life. They bought a guitar, but they didn't know how to play songs, or they can't quit smoking, or their dog won't come when it's called, or they try to have a meditation practice, but they just can't make it stick. So you define the problem, then you get them agitated about the problem. You make them feel even worse about their problem. You get them all worked up and feeling bad about that problem. And then you give them the solution. But you don't really give them the solution, you sell them the solution. That problem, agitate, solve formula can still work, but it doesn't make anyone feel very good, and it's not the best way to land long-term clients. So that's the old style sales page, and it's also how a lot of long ads and infomercials work. The format actually came out of old school direct mail, and it used to work. In fact, there are times where it will still work. However, those old style sales pages, well, they're just not very effective anymore, and their effectiveness keeps on dropping. In today's world, we're moving towards more transparency and authenticity and creating value before the sale. And that's where the Sideways Sales Letter comes in. This was a big innovation that literally changed online marketing, and to a large degree, it leveled the playing field. So instead of thinking of a long sales page, think about turning it on its side. Think of it as a 10-day process, a 10-day launch, where you deliver value over that time before you ever ask for the sale. What you do is you release 3 pieces of content that we call pre-launch content, or PLC for short. These days, we generally do that with video or with live broadcasts. You release the first video or do your first broadcast, which is all about your future client's journey or their opportunity. It's where you show people that they can have a positive change in their life, that they can learn to play songs on their guitar, that they can learn to meditate, that they can train their dog, that they can have a healthy gut or have better relationships. You show them the opportunity to change their life for the better. And along the way, you're teaching, you're giving real value because, and this is important, I believe that showing someone that they can change their life for the better is one of the biggest gifts you can give them. Then a few days later, you release the second video, PLC 2. This is the transformation video. This is where you show your future clients the transformation they can have in their lives. And make no mistake, whatever you're selling, they can have a real transformation in their lives. Your clients can have that transformation. You're either taking away some pain or delivering some type of pleasure to them. And that transformation usually goes way deeper than most people consider. So if you're teaching people how to play songs on their new guitar, you're creating a big positive transformation for them. For instance, they'll gain confidence and composure as they learn a new skill. They could create new connections if they choose to play some songs at a social gathering. And they might even step into a new community and connect with people around their new interests. In this second PLC video, you're showing your people the transformation they can experience in their lives, and you're delivering real value and great content. Then a few days later, you release PLC 3. This is what we call the ownership video. This is all about having your future clients start to take ownership of their future selves. Now, this is what I mean. If any of us want to have something different in our lives, if we want to lose weight or find the love of our lives or knit a sweater or start a new business, well, it's a significant change in our life. And before we have that change, we need to decide we're going to have that change. Make no mistake, any positive change in our lives is a decision, and we need to take ownership over that decision, to take ownership of our future selves. In your PLC 3, you have to show your future clients what taking ownership means. And leading them up to that decision is one of the greatest gifts you could ever give to someone. Now here's the key. You're delivering great content every step of the way, but how do you deliver real value? How do you know what to put in your pre-launch videos? And how can AI make all this so much easier? It's all about the PS path. And that's what I'll show you in the next video. AI to define your problem solution path. Remember that the PS path is how you make sure you're giving your people really valuable content, but it's not just some random content. It needs to naturally build towards making the sale. The PS path is the formula for giving great content without overwhelming your prospects and without giving all your content away. So remember, in your pre-launch content, you're giving your people a vision of a new future that they can have. You're showing them what can be done, how their life can change for the better, how they can learn a second language, meet the love of their life, make more money, get in better shape, finally learn to play that ukulele. In other words, you're giving them a start. You're taking your people from 0 to 1. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in to how you can use AI to help create your problem solution path. So I'm going to use ChatGPT here, but there's a lot of tools you can use. If you have another favorite tool, go ahead and use that one. This is what we call our PS Path Master Prompt. So what we're doing here is giving ChatGPT the context for the problem that we're going to solve. So let's look at the prompt. Please help me as my marketing assistant. I will tell you about my customer avatar in my next prompt, but first I want to give you the context of what I would like help with. In my marketing, I'm going to talk about some problems that my avatar faces, and I'll provide a specific solution to each of those problems. These must be distinct from my main product or offer, but naturally lead into the offer for that product. If my product will take my students from 1 to 100 in their journey, my marketing content should take them from 0 to 1. In the journey from 0 to 1, they will face several problems. I want your help in identifying 3 problems along with solutions to those problems. In my marketing content, I will use 3 videos or live broadcasts to talk about each problem and teach the solution. So the problems and solutions must be concise enough to fit within that limitation. The 3 videos or broadcasts will be released sequentially. The solution for each problem should lead naturally into the next problem, which will be covered in the next video. Do you understand my request? So then I just copy this and I paste it into ChatGPT. And it basically says it's ready to go forward. So I've prepared an avatar here. My customer is a guitar player who wants to learn to play better electric blues guitar. My product is an online course. The total transformation that my avatar will experience with my product is that they will become a highly skilled and confident blues lead guitar player, able to play complex and nuanced solos and songs with ease. My avatar is not necessarily interested in playing professionally, but simply wants to become an accomplished blues lead player. They want to play for their own enjoyment and possibly be able to start playing with others. So here we just gave the very, very basics of who they are, what the offer is going to be, what the total transformation is going to be, and then a little bit more about who they are. They're not looking to become a pro. They just want to become accomplished, and they want to play for themselves and maybe with others. So we just take this and we copy it and we paste this into ChatGPT and let it go to work. So one of the things about the output you get from AI is that it can vary in quality, and you can just ask it to regenerate the results. You can ask it to go deeper. You can tell it, hey, I didn't like such and such about video 1, or I didn't like this about video 2, or expound more on this or that. So you can just keep on asking it to iterate as long as you want. The amazing thing is I actually like this output quite a bit because I love this. They're struggling to find the right starting point here. They feel overwhelmed by the sheer amount of information available. And just to go off script a little bit, I will let you know that in this business, some people struggle with, wow, there's so many competitors out there. There's so much free information. How can I sell information? How can I sell teaching, training, a course, a membership site if there's 1,000 videos on YouTube? The problem of overwhelm is real, and if you can take away that problem of overwhelm, you are doing your future clients a great service. And that's why there is very much a market for you to sell a course or a membership site or a workshop or a coaching program, because there is so much out there. And if you can cut through the noise and get results for your people, you will win. So here, they're unsure where to begin, which leads to frustration. And they could get 1,000 free YouTube videos, but if you could give them something, a simple, focused practice routine, and of course, this is just for this avatar, but this type of thing works for many avatars. So I actually like this quite a bit. So the first thing is they need to know how to learn, and they need a plan. And that's what this first one is about. And then here for the transition, I like this quite a bit, because once they've got that solid starting point, then going from practicing those basic techniques and to integrating them into actually playing and making music, that's the next problem. So that's what problem 2 is. Now that the avatar has started to integrate those techniques in their playing, the next hurdle is often breaking out of those repetitive patterns and really starting to express themselves. And this, to me, feels really very right on. So the next problem is getting stuck in repetitive playing patterns. This is certainly something that I have experienced. And so that the solution is new scales, experimenting different rhythms, using bending and vibrato and slides. And then that naturally leads into the transition to the main product. And the main product is a comprehensive approach to continually progressing and reaching their potential. So as I mentioned earlier, your results with AI will vary. You can ask it to regenerate. You can ask it to go deeper. You can tell it the things you like and dislike about different areas. But this is one of those cases where I actually think this is pretty solid. This is a great starting point. So now we're going to go one layer deeper here. Earlier in this lesson, I showed you how each video in your pre-launch has a theme. And the theme for the first piece of pre-launch content, PLC1, was the opportunity. And this is the opportunity for your future client, your future customer, to have some kind of change in their life, a positive change in their life. So we're going to ask AI to add that in. So what I'm going to ask is for that first video, for the overall theme to be the opportunity for a guitar player to become a highly skilled and confident blues lead guitar player, someone who's able to play great nuanced solos. So this is the prompt I'm going to put in. For the first video, the overall theme will be opportunity, the opportunity for a guitar player to become a highly skilled and confident blues lead guitar player, able to play complex and nuanced solos with ease. It's all about what accomplishing that will do for every area of their lives. Please add this theme into the first video. So I'm just going to copy that. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to paste that in. So let's take a look at what it gave us. So it's just restating the problem and the solution. Here's this theme integration. Frameless initial challenge is an incredible opportunity for transformation. Emphasize that by starting with these fundamental techniques, they're not just learning guitar, they're unlocking the door to a future where they can express themselves confidently and creatively through music. Highlight how mastering these basics is the first step towards becoming highly confident, skilled, and confident blues lead guitarist, and how this newfound confidence can positively influence other areas of their lives. So this is a case where I'm not super impressed with what ChatGPT gave us. I think, they just used the word opportunity a few times and it's almost restated what we told them up here. So I'm not impressed. And frankly, this is, sometimes AI will do this, just give you really bland results. So I've got another prompt here that I just added in. Please go deeper on the opportunity here. So just asking the AI to do better sometimes will get you better results. What will finding the right starting point really do for the avatar? Contrast that with continuing to noodle on the same basic stuff over and over. Contrast it to randomly bouncing from one YouTube video to another in an effort to try and advance their playing. So I'm just going to paste that in and see if we can get some better results. So you can see it gave us a lot more. Let's go back and take a look at how this worked out. Okay, so this is starting to feel a lot better. I'm seeing just stuff I like in here. When they stop bouncing from one random video to another and commit to a structured, focused practice routine, they're opening the door to true mastery. They break free from stagnation, which is a wonderful thing if people are feeling stagnant. They gain confidence and motivation. They have a clear starting point, structured routine, a roadmap to success. They transform their playing when they commit to the right path. They're not just learning to play guitar, they're investing in themselves. Contrast it with continuing to noodle around. They risk falling into a rut. It becomes more of a chore than a joy. These are things that I think will really resonate with this avatar. So that was just an example of how going back and asking AI to do better can result in, will give you much better results. Overall, I think this is starting to do a really good job, or a pretty darn good job, of hitting the opportunity. So we're on our way to a solid problem solution path, and we've layered in the opportunity here. For the second video, you would layer on the transformation. And for the third, you would add in the idea of ownership. That's the theme for the third video or broadcast. So you can see how AI can really give you a jump start. It can make this process so much quicker and so much easier. It gives you a great starting point. You're no longer facing that blank page. And this shows how when you take the strategy of the product launch formula and combine it with the power of AI, well, it's just an incredible combination. So I have one more piece to the formula to add in. You can see how we just keep on building and building elements, and we keep on layering in these strategies and tools to make your launch incredibly powerful. So this next layer is, well, is the game changer. It's what we call the mental triggers. And this just takes everything to an entirely different level.